Oh my goodness! You are not going to believe what just went down. I'm literally shaking right now because this love and hip-hop drama just exploded into a full-blown crime scene. Mendeecees and Kirk Frost got into it so bad that police had to drag them away in handcuffs. Like what? Can you believe we went from the usual cheating scandals and relationship drama to actual jail time? I'm still trying to process how this even happened. Was it over Yandy, Kendra, or did somebody finally snap over Kirk's never-ending foolishness? People who were there said fists were flying everywhere, furniture crashing, and security guards couldn't even handle it. Now both Mendeecees and Kirk are facing serious legal trouble. Did Yandy bail Mendeecees out? Is Rashida finally done with Kirk's nonsense? And where was young Jock during all this madness? Honey, grab yourself something strong because I've got all the leaked footage and the real story about what happened. Mendeecees and Kirk Frost, two grown men with enough baggage to fill a whole season of reality TV, just got themselves arrested over a brawl that looked like something from WWE. Like, are you kidding me? These are fathers and so-called businessmen. And don't even get me started on the instigators because Yandy, Kendra, and young Jock were definitely nearby stirring the pot like they were cooking Sunday dinner. Let's get one thing straight. Mendeecees and Kirk have always been drama magnets. From Kirk's endless cheating scandals to Mendeecees' financial situations, these two can't stay out of trouble. But this time, it's not just gossip. The streets are talking. The internet is melting down, and even the police had to step in. It all went down at this exclusive Atlanta nightclub. Of course it did. Kirk, I never learned Frost, was spotted getting way too comfortable with some woman who was definitely not Rashida. You'd think after embarrassing his wife for a decade, he'd be more discreet, but no. Kirk was in full reckless mode, laughing, drinking, and whispering sweet nothings to this mystery woman like his marriage wasn't hanging by a thread. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was already in a mood. Word is he'd been arguing with Yandy all day about something that happened on set. Apparently, Yandy's still holding on to resentment from years ago when Mendeecees had her thinking they were officially married, only for everyone to find out later the paperwork was never filed. Girl, she has not forgotten and was making sure he knew it. So there's Mendeecees, already irritated, sitting in VIP trying to enjoy his night when he spots Kirk across the room looking real comfortable with another woman. Now, normally this wouldn't be Mendeecees' business, but remember, these reality stars live for mess. Plus, Yandy and Rashida are tight, and the last thing Mendeecees needed was for Yandy to find out he saw Kirk creeping and didn't say anything. What does Mendeecees do? He marches straight up to Kirk's section and calls him out. No warning, no build-up, just straight drama. And Kirk? He tries to laugh it off with a, "Come on, man, you know how it is." Like that's supposed to make everything okay. Mendeecees wasn't having any of it. He started raising his voice about how Rashida doesn't deserve this, how Kirk's embarrassing his family again, and how Kirk should be ashamed of himself. Instead of taking the L and shutting up, Kirk claps back with, "Man, worry about your own marriage before you start preaching to me." If you know anything about Mendeecees, you know that was the wrong thing to say. Mendeecees might not be perfect, but the last thing he wants is someone throwing his relationship issues back in his face. That's when everything went crazy. Mendeecees lunged at Kirk. Drinks went flying, security tried to jump in, but it was too late. And somehow, young Jock was suddenly in the mix trying to pull them apart. Why was Jock even there? Girl, I have no idea. But instead of calming things down, Jock started running his mouth. Man, both y'all need to chill. This ain't the first time Kirk been out here wildin'. And just like that, Mendeecees turned his attention to Jock. The club was in chaos, people screaming, tables flipping, security struggling to keep control. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Kendra walked in. Kendra, who was supposed to be at home minding her business, walked straight into this nightmare. And the look on her face when she saw not only her husband in a brawl, but also the woman Kirk had been with. Priceless. She absolutely snapped. Kendra lost it completely, yelling, pointing fingers, and before security could get things under control, the police had arrived. And that, my friends, is how Mendeecees and Kirk Frost ended up in handcuffs looking like two fools who couldn't keep their egos or their hands to themselves. As those red and blue lights filled the club, the energy shifted from chaotic to terrifying. People scrambling, phones recording everything, security looking exhausted, and right in the middle, Mendeecees and Kirk Frost, still heated, still talking trash, but now with real problems. Atlanta PD wasn't playing around. The second those officers walked in and saw the scene, tables flipped, drinks spilled, people screaming, they immediately started making arrests. And guess who they went for first? That's right, Mendeecees and Kirk. The moment Mendeecees saw those cops walking toward him, his heart must have dropped. This man has spent years dealing with legal drama, done time, been on parole. The last thing he needed was to be back in handcuffs. But Kirk still thought he could talk his way out of it. He was trying to play it cool with the officers. Come on, man, this ain't nothing, just a little misunderstanding. But the police weren't buying it, especially since multiple people told them Kirk and Mendeecees started the fight. Meanwhile, young Jock, who somehow managed to stay out of handcuffs, was still running his mouth. Man, this is wild. Y'all really locking them up over a little club drama. Like, sir, you literally fueled this fire. Maybe sit this one out. Just when it seemed like only Kirk and Mendeecees were going down, things took an even more shocking turn because, remember Kendra? Baby, Kendra was not letting this night end without adding her own drama. While the cops were handling Kirk and Mendeecees, Kendra was still going off, yelling about the woman Kirk was with, and then she tried to swing on her. Yes, you heard that right. Kendra, the classy, composed attorney, lost every ounce of professionalism and went straight into love and hip-hop mode. She lunged at the woman and security had to hold her back. The cops were done at this point. One officer shouted, "That's it, she's coming with us too." And that's how Kendra found herself in the back of a police car right next to her husband. Meanwhile, Yandy had been watching this whole thing unfold like it was a movie premiere, but you know she wasn't about to let Mendeecees go to jail without making a scene. When they started putting cuffs on him, Yandy ran over screaming, "Oh hell no, y'all not taking my husband over this nonsense." But the cops were not in the mood. One turned to her and said, "Ma'am, if you don't back up, you're coming too." And just like that, Yandy switched gears real quick. Say what you want about her, but she knows how to pick her battles. So now we've got Kirk, Mendeecees, and Kendra in custody. And the internet went into a meltdown when those mugshots dropped. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all exploding. Memes flying everywhere. People dragging Kirk for getting caught cheating again, clowning Mendeecees for being Atlanta's most unbothered husband, and roasting Kendra for throwing hands like a reality star. One tweet said, "Kendra out here fighting side chicks while her husband's sitting in jail grinning like it's a family reunion photo." Another one, "Somebody tell Kirk that Rashida ain't bailing him out this time." Speaking of Rashida, where was she in all this? According to sources, she was at home minding her business as usual. But the moment she got that phone call about Kirk's arrest, baby, she snapped. Insiders say Rashida was done, like pack your bags, we're getting a divorce kind of done. And honestly, can you blame her? Kirk has been embarrassing this woman for years. At some point, enough is enough. But Kirk thought he could smooth things over. This man was calling Rashida from jail, trying to hit her with the same tired excuses he's been using for a decade. And you know what Rashida did? She hung up on him. Didn't even let him finish his sentence. Just click and went about her day. Good for her. Now back to jail. Kirk, Mendeecees, and Kendra were sitting behind bars waiting to hear what charges they were facing, and the list was long. Disorderly conduct, public intoxication, disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, and Kendra got an extra charge for attempted assault. Everyone was scrambling to figure out who was posting bail. Word is that Yandy refused to bail Mendeecees out right away. She wanted him to sit and think about his actions. Meanwhile, Kirk was counting on Rashida, but after that phone call, he had to rethink his whole life. And Kendra, sources say young Jock was working behind the scenes to get her out because if Kendra had to spend even one night in jail, Jock would be looking at divorce papers the next day. While all this was happening, the internet was feasting on the drama. Fans making side-by-side mugshot comparisons, reality stars weighing in, and even celebrities couldn't resist. 50 Cent, yes, 50, posted on Instagram, "Man, love, and hip-hop got more arrests than the Super Bowl." And honestly, he wasn't lying. But the real gag, the judge wasn't about to let them off easy. This wasn't just some small-time drama. This was a public incident at an elite club with witnesses and video footage. When that courtroom video played, you could literally feel the energy shift. The judge sat back, arms crossed, shaking their head like, "Oh, so this is what we're dealing with." The video showed everything. Kirk wilding out, Mendeecees throwing hands, Kendra trying to fight, security looking tired, and the cops stepping in like they were breaking up WrestleMania. And if that wasn't enough, the audio picked up every word. Mendeecees, "You don't want these problems, bro." Kirk, "You got me twisted, man." "Watch yourself." Kendra, "I know you didn't just disrespect me like that." This wasn't just a bar scuffle anymore. This was evidence. The judge was not impressed. They lowered their glasses, took a deep breath, and said, "So let me get this straight. You three grown adults thought it was appropriate to turn a high-end nightclub into a WWE SmackDown event? Mendeecees, Kirk, and Kendra just sat there looking like kids caught stealing candy. The silence was deafening. Then the judge started breaking it down. First up, Mendeecees. The judge locked eyes with him and said, Mr. Harris, you of all people should know better. You've had legal trouble in the past, you've been on the straight and narrow, and now you're back in my courtroom for what? A petty nightclub fight? Trying to stay calm, Mendeecees replied, "Your Honor, it wasn't like that. I was just..." The judge cut him off. "Oh no, it was exactly like that because I just watched the footage." Next, it was Kirk's turn and the judge was ready. "Mr. Frost, I'm almost embarrassed for you. You are a middle-aged man out here causing scenes in clubs like a reckless teenager. And let's not forget this entire situation started because of you. Your reckless behavior, your inability to stay faithful, and your complete lack of self-control." Kirk had nothing to say. He just sat there looking like he wanted to disappear. Finally, Kendra. Now remember, Kendra is an attorney. She knows the law. When the judge turned to her, the disappointment was real. "Mrs. Robinson, you are an officer of the court. You're expected to uphold the law, not break it. I just watched you attempt to attack another woman in public. Do you have any idea how unprofessional and ridiculous that looks?" Kendra was fighting back tears at this point. She knew she had messed up. Then the judge dropped the bombshell. "Based on the evidence presented, I am ruling as follows. Mr. Frost, you'll be fined $10,000 and must attend mandatory anger management and infidelity counseling." Yes, you heard me. Infidelity counseling. The tea is still boiling on this one. This situation went from a messy club fight to a full-blown legal disaster real quick. But the real question is, who's really to blame here? Was Kirk just being Kirk and finally getting what he deserves? Should Mendeecees have walked away instead of throwing hands? And did Kendra throw away her entire career over a man who stays embarrassing her? One thing's for sure, love and hip-hop never disappoints when it comes to mess. But this might be the wildest scandal yet. Are we about to see breakups, lawsuits, maybe even an emergency cast meeting on VH1? Whose side are you on? Is Rashida finally done with Kirk for real? Is Kendra's career over? Did Mendeecees deserve the 30-day sentence, or was the judge being too harsh? This tea is still piping hot, and you know I've got more exclusives coming your way.